Live. Be sure that you like, share, subscribe. Y'all know it's me, KD, your divine cosmic cousin, your divine cosmic cheerleader, all things divine, checking in live behind the scenes and behind the screen, y'all, because I just got some things on my mind that I figured, the best place to state my opinion is my platform. So here we are to do so. So grab your snacks, whatever the case may be, whatever you need, so we can definitely go ahead and get into this thing. But before we do that, y'all know we have to thank God for this day. We have to thank God for protecting over us, watching over us, covering us with a cloak of protection from the blood of the Lamb. Thank God for letting this day be great. Thank God for letting us be great. Thank God for letting our hearts, our minds, our beings, our essence, everything be focused on Him and the goodness that we shall do on His behalf. So with that being said, indeed it shall be, and we thank God for it. So we are here just to have some unpopular opinions. This is going to be a POV by KDB podcast, kind of talk topics, like I said, because I got some things on my mind that I want to talk about. And so we're just going to, tap into breaking the matrix and, talking about the things, the unpopular opinions, the things that the people are afraid to talk about. So, yeah, let's just go ahead and dive into it. But before we do that, happy birthday to everybody that's born today, because my daddy's first child was born today. Love that for him. So shout out to my brother, all the Geminis, all the like. But the Bible verse of the day is coming from Hosea 6:3, and it does say to let us acknowledge the Lord. Let us press on to acknowledge him. As surely as the sun rises, he will appear. He will come to us like the winter rains, like the spring rains that water the earth. Okay? Because it is springtime. We are in the second quarter, watering the earth, watering ourselves, doing what we got to do. And that's why I'm like, even if I'm not going to be on screen doing my thing, I am going to, like I said, just come and chop it up, you know, with y'all on the live. And yeah, let's go ahead and get into it, because I'm like, without further ado, let's go ahead and get into it. But I'm talking about let's get into it, but I'm like, hold on, y'all, because I have to actually grab my treats. Hold on, because I see the lighter, because I'm like, let me make sure. All right, you getting the party started. Right, that's the treats that I'm talking about. Okay, so like I said, we're here for my unpopular opinions, because I state my opinion the only place that it matters, and the only place that my opinion matters is my platform. So here we are to speak. But two things that I have really been noticing lately, in especially the industry, and something that we're going to talk about, is that god doggone Cardi B and Beyonce. Like I said, just in the title alone, adults have an obsession with bad behavior or celebrities in general is just kind of strange. Like, not even kind of, but it is strange, because it's just like, yes, they are celebs, but they are people. Just thinking about me as an everyday person, even me having an events locally. Someone asked me why I don't post my events online, even though I do like have people on YouTube that are local to me. And I had to tell them it's because my events are not a meet and greet. My events are marketed from a marketing page, so that I don't necessarily have to be the marketing. The brand curated by KD does the marketing, not Kadria, because I don't want people to come to my events to hang out with me. I want people to come to my events to come to my events, which makes me realize that's why celebrities kind of don't like hanging out in the public eye, because people never let them be people. It's like they can't just go to the mall and just shop around like the average everyday person would shop around, because somebody's going to want a picture. Like, somebody's just going to want to be in their space, going to want to hang out with them, instead of doing what they came to the mall to do, which is shop, just like that person may have come to the mall to shop. But in that being said, I'm noticing that people tend to give their favorite celebrities a pass in the bad behavior that they do. And that is what's really alarming, because especially being an adult, especially being in a parent position, it's definitely, the type of environment where you have to keep your head on straight. So first, I am going to get into Beyonce, and just it is what it is. It just is what it is, because we're going to talk about it. So a few weeks ago, because I believe I even talked about this on another live, about how Kanye was on a rant and just talking about how like Beyonce's kids were I don't, he called them retarded, but that's not the word that I want to use, but in quotations, that is what he said. We will plainly put, say that he said those kids were on the spectrum. And I will say that because we'll get into my life, because this is POV by KDB, that being me. So, you know, I'm going to give y'all a little background in my life. As someone, like they told me in the gifted testing, being on the spectrum, whether you're gifted or mental retardation, gifted is the opposite end of mental retardation. So I remember when it was my turn to take the, you know, gifted testing, I was like, this is not something that I want to do. I was like, I want to be a normal kid. I want to be in normal classes. So I purposefully tried to like flunk the gifted testing, but my mama don't play that either. So it's like, girl, you can't, you know, do too much. It's just, I was just very calculated and strategic in what I was trying to do and just kind of get my way in life as a child. But eventually there's always a caveat, because the caveat, or you know, the line that I didn't know about in my life was, even though I decided that I wasn't going to be in gifted, I didn't know that there was a placeholder called edge, and that's for the students that were like on the edge of being gifted, but for whatever reason there's just some things that we need to fine tune to kind of get you there. So with that being my background and having to deal, you know, with the spectrum as a kid, I say this because I've had to experience this, and I'm sure Kanye has as well. Like, I'm sure, yeah, like, I'm almost certain he was the one that told us he had autism if someone didn't even place that on him. But either way, being a spectrum kid is just as beautiful as being, you know, it might even be more beautiful than being a regular individual, because I do think we are quite fascinating. But even in just talking about unpopular opinions, when we're talking about unpopular opinions and we're talking about Kanye, who said what he said about Beyonce's kids, it takes one to know one. So he would also know, you know, maybe there is something a little off with these twins, because, you know, I have it. So with her, she's kind of like a Christian. It's like these are not the things that she's necessarily accepting of, because she's definitely the type of person, you know, I believe in whatever I believe, that my kids will be just fine, live a happy, successful life. They won't need, you know, assistance like some severely mentally, you know, challenged people do. And I think that's Beyonce's thing. I think she knows, especially because having a sister that she's had to deal with, you know, mental issues, plainly put, that because we ain't doing too much about Solo. We love Solo Angel, so because that's definitely what Rumi is. So we're not gonna do too much on Solo. Simply what it is, she's had to see this in her own life, so seeing it in her child is not something that is foreign to her, because she's definitely seen how successful and how talented her own sibling is with that sibling's mental challenges. So with Ye, people are just like, you know, it's always something with him. But I just look at, you know, I say this all the time, you know, as I recall, you know, I love to show off, but you never thought that I would make it this far. It's flashing lights. What do I know? Flashing lights, lights. In that song, Ye said, I hate these niggas more than the Nazis. Like, that was then, and I was in high school, and I've been out of high school over a decade and a half. Graduated in 2010, okay? 15 years ago, graduated from high school. This man has been saying the most outlandish things. And that's one thing that I've noticed about myself. Like, when I go on my little rants or whatever I'm doing on, like, Facebook or Threads or wherever I'm doing it at, when my friends see it, they be like, babe, you okay? Do we need to check in on you? And I'm like, a lot of the time I just be bored. Like, anything that I'm telling y'all is like I'm giving y'all access to know that I'm human just like y'all. You know, I'm not perfect. I do live, you know, a somewhat normal life. Not necessarily normal, but I do live a life, because no, it's definitely not average. No. No one gets to be, I'm not gonna say no one, but I'm gonna just say it is a privilege to be blessed like I am, you know, plainly put. You know, I'm a Nepo baby who models as a hobby. So I'm blessed in the city, in the field, wherever I go. But with Beyonce and with Kanye saying, it made me peddling Rumi see these at least roomy, because we don't get to see Sir, but we never really got to see her. I mean, she would pop up at games, little, performances, but she wasn't really in the performances like Blue was and like she is now. And she does have segments because she's on the spectrum, okay? She's got to be. I'm like Beyonce, whether or not she's going to tell it to her friends, like I said, because it seems to me like she is a Krishan in her ways. Like, I'm taking care of my baby. It is what it is. Don't say too much about it. But again, I'm just looking at the fact that this girl is 7 going on 8 years old. She has a handler when she's performing. Now, as someone, again, that has had to deal with the spectrum growing up and that has been at least performing since I was 3 years old, I've never had to be handled in the way that Rumi has to be handled. She literally has to be held and contained. She is a leash baby. When we be talking about don't put them babies on a leash, let them run around and be free, you let her run. Listen, they said that handler will get fired if she lets that baby move. She literally is, again, the only thing that's missing is the leash. It's a little invisible leash, but the only thing that's missing from literally her being handled in the background of her coming on stage for the minute that she does, she's handled for 5 minutes in setup, and it's just like at some parts she chill out, but sometimes she kind of like hops up and gets those jolts of energy and is ready to go. And it could be a matter of sometimes, like, you thought you heard your cue, but that's not your cue, so you get a little excited. But again, the fact that she has to be handled in such a way at 7 going on 8 years old, this is a child that is in grade school, first, second, third grade. You kind of start learning how to coexist in spaces at that age. Now, when you are, like I said, starting off in ballet and dance and stuff at like 3, 4, 5, yes, you are doing that. But like I said, she's 7 going on 8. This is literally, like I said, grade school. Like we said, it's primary school, and it's just like, you're trying to parade this girl around so that your high falls in love with her, and anything that anyone says that you deem as negative, whether or not it's true, you got your bulldogs and bees ready. Because ain't nothing but a bunch of bitches anyway. But I'm just saying, got them ready to defend her. Like, Rumi's my girl. Don't get it twisted. I love looking at Rumi. Like, I don't care that she has a disability, anything. Oh, I'm not even going to call it a disability because she is able-bodied. She may be on the spectrum. And that's why it's just like, it's just a mental difference is what we should call it. Not necessarily a disability, but it's definitely a mental difference, because while she may be on the spectrum, like I said, she is still able and bodied. And like I said, by her age, many kids have no problem performing by themselves. Like, they may need a little 1-2 instruction, boom, cat from the teacher or just her mama. But again, having to be handled, you might have to tell them, shh, line up, wait here. It's one person. But we're just going to let this story unfold as it should, because like I said, just as someone that has been certified in early childhood education, learning the things that I've learned in my certification, in my experience from working with children, in my upbringing of having educator parents and having been around several different children. My parents are, deans and principals and elementary schools and high schools and colleges and all this kind of stuff my entire life. So I've always been around several different people, especially when it comes to the education aspect of things. So like I said, it's definitely not something that I'm like looking for, but I definitely want to see Sir. I definitely want to see his manners, because I feel like maybe he's a little bit too rambunctious in his age to even be out. So they just kind of like keep him literally in the shadows. Because how long can you keep a kid? It doesn't matter. It's not, child, we don't even know Nicki Minaj's son's name. But I am curious, because now that we know that Cardi B's baby name is Blossom, like we thought it was and like we said it was, I definitely want to know what Papa Bear's name is. But we're going to go ahead and roll right into Miss Cardi B as well. Because like I said, we're going to talk about Beyonce, but we're going to talk about Cardi B as well. Because the fact that Cardi is out here married but frolicking around with a bigger dog than the one that she's married to is not how we supposed to start our spring and summer, ladies. Yes, he may have but especially when you're somebody's mother. And this is my unpopular opinion of why I don't allow y'all to let just anyone represent us. Because y'all see me, even if I'm not on screen, you see it on this picture, represent us as a black woman. Like, I don't understand what y'all don't understand, that this is another unpopular opinion, but black is reserved for those of us who had our heritage, stolen, undocumented, stripped, or whatever the case may be. It's for the black Americans that do not have the definitive history behind their bloodline. If you know that you are Indian, Hispanic, Asian, you're that. You may be, a black such and such, whatever the case may be, but a lot of the times y'all are just Hispanics, Asians, Puerto Ricans, whatever y'all decide to be. But again, y'all don't act like y'all know that the term black is reserved for, again, the group of us that had our identity and heritage stolen, undocumented, manipulated, washed out, child, several different things. Like, the term black is literally sacred to a group of people, and y'all just throw it around to make anybody a representative for a black woman. And that is another thing that is strange, because especially when it comes to calling people out, call that out in your community. Like, if you want to run around and be a married woman and have all these kids, like, girl, you have Blossom, now that we know the baby name, who is fresh out of you, like not even two, but you are married and run around with, again, a bigger dog than the one that you're married to. Do that as a representation of your community, because y'all are putting as a representation of black women. And again, as a black woman that's born a black woman, stop doing that to us, because we have bigger and better to represent us. Like, again, y'all can keep that for y'all community and whatever that y'all decide to do over there, even if y'all want to be mixed. But again, for those of us that are black on black on black on black on black on black on black, I'm talking about mama black, daddy black, grandma black, granddaddy black, they mama's black, they daddy's black, black on black on black on black on black on black on my back. Y'all have really, like, got to stop. And just being black in general, and just stop doing stuff just ghetto like that makes people think that it's okay to be a ghetto excuse of a black woman. Because at least we could say, if we wanted to pull her into the black community, at least we could say, child, well, at least she did get married. Because unfortunately in the black community, that's not happening as often as it is in other communities, especially prior to having a child. It's not something that's, just big in our community anymore. So I'm like, I mean, that's something that we could take from it. But again, it's very ghetto. And we already got people like me that's live already in a ghetto fairy tale that's doing our best to uphold the black community. So we just gotta take a step back, take a moment, and look at things for what it is, be our best selves. And I'm not saying we have to be perfect, but, sometimes we do have to be perfect in every aspect of the game. You miss a ball, you run a mile. I don't really know sports, but y'all know whatever he said. You miss a fumble, you run a mile. You miss a pass or drop the ball or something, I will put my foot up in your John Brown hind parts, and then you will run a mile. Okay? Remember the Titans. Quite literally. So, again, not a matter of being perfect, but definitely an aspect of gracing greatness, because it doesn't even have to be, again, perfection, but it definitely has to be better. It definitely has to be better, because the more that I'm just looking around and seeing life for what it is, I'm just like, child, just spending some time with because only my grandmother on my paternal side is alive. My grandfather is recently deceased. But that's just another thing. My paternal grandmother and grandfather have literally been together since they were in the 12th grade. They used to ride the bus together after school, because my grandma said apparently there was like some Naval Academy bus that they didn't go to Naval. It was a regular school, but the little program after school was like they would bus kids over to the Naval Academy, make them do little work and stuff like that. So that way they had a job, they had income, they were prepared for life. Again, when she tells me stuff like that, I'm like, I wish we were doing stuff like that. But that's how she met and got with my grandfather. And my grandmother's only been with one person in her entire life. And like I said, my grandfather recently passed like 3 years ago. So from grade 12 until child death till they literally part, my grandparents have been together. So when people say that women have this idea of love and stuff that doesn't exist and it's in fairy tales and it's in movies, I don't know what they're talking about. Because again, I'm born out of wedlock. My parents were married, albeit they're divorced, but they were married, and my mother is remarried. So it's just like the women in my family, marriage. That's just what it is. And like I said, for my grandparents, I asked my grandma, I was like, have you been with any other man? And she was like, no. She was like, my mom tried to, hook me up with somebody else, but it was the first time in my life that I had ever, went against what my mom said. Like she said, she was in high school and her mom was trying to get her married out to a man in the military so they can collect some money. But my grandmother was like, I don't know that man. I don't love him. That's not what I want to do in my life. I'm sorry, mama. I just can't. And she, 6 months later, ended up meeting my grandfather. And thank God in heaven, the Lord above, that my grandfather, even though he was a player from the Himalayas apparently, changed his ways once my grandma found out and said, get it together, I'm gone. And like my grandma said, within 6 months, he was going to church every Sunday, a changed man, begging for a vow renewal, I want a daughter now, because it was just my dad, my grandma, my grandpa. Yeah, because my dad is like 10 years older than my aunt. But my granddaddy was just like, I do not want to lose you. I love you. I don't care about none of these skeezers out here. I'm not losing my wife, my family, everything that I built. He was just like, I'll let them go. And he did. My grandma said, I never had an issue with him after that. She said within 6 months, he was a completely different man. Nothing more but the best for her and her child, because just even looking at her pictures. But before I get into that, that's how my aunt was born. My grandfather basically, I believe, ended up making a covenant with God, especially because my church I went to is New Covenant Ministries. I know that's right. But I believe he ended up making a covenant with God. And he told, God, like, if he got a daughter, because he already had a son, he's just like, I need a daughter in the spitting image of my wife, because she is the perfect embodiment of you. And I hate to say perfect, but I just feel like that's just where his mind was, because my grandmother has led so many people to Christ, like changed so many lives, and that's literally who I model myself after, if anyone. Okay, besides my mama, it's my grandma for sure. That's all. When people say they don't have no one they looked up to, I can't relate. Okay, my examples are great. But yeah, he prayed, I'm sure on his knees, like, God, give me a daughter and I will, know that you are who you say you are. My life will be as magnificent as you said it would be. And they ended up having a daughter. And he ended up naming that daughter after my grandmother. That's how obsessed he was with my grandmother. And I believe that the covenant that my grandfather made with God is so strong. That's why each and every one of his descendants look like my grandmother. My father looks like her. My aunt looks like her. My aunt doesn't have kids, so my dad has all the kids as far as the grand. So it'll be my oldest brother, myself, my youngest brother, spitting images of my grandmother. And we all have different mothers. Now he won't, all of us, yeah. I'm gonna put it like that. He got one ex-wife, which is, he was married to my mom, and then there's 2 other women that he was, I don't know the relationship because I wasn't there. I just know he was married to my mom. But like I said, I know it's 2 of the women that he had children with, and that's just the bottom line. So, yeah. I love. And I don't like when I get called, delusional, because I haven't got to the point of doing what people in society do, of just saying, okay, I'm going to be with this person because society says we look good. I don't allow people to treat me terribly, knowing that I'm going to give them, if not the best of me, close to it. Because now I be having to pull myself back like, girl, you better not. You better not. But it's hard not being myself, which is why I have to keep myself so single, Because yeah, like these dudes, especially if you lie and you creeping and you doing, only God knows what, is not necessarily a situation that I'm rushing myself to be in. Because even my dad, and his mom, and even my mom, everyone's just like, when are you going to get married? Because like I said, I come from marriage. These people, like I said, my grandparents have been together since the 12th grade. My parents got married after 6 months. Like, it's not. And even just watching like Kevin Samuels, because it's so funny, just hanging out with my grandma, and like I said, just learning about love and life and stuff like that in an adult lens from my grandmother, like I did when I was a child, and just coming back, everything's coming back full circle, and learning more now that I understand more, asking the questions, now that I am in my 30s, just maneuvering in life and relationships and things like that. And my grandmother loves Kevin Samuels. She's just like, he be saying some stuff that's real good. This is what people need to hear. She's just like, how do I show this to my friends? Some of my friends need to see this. And I'm just like, it's so funny that you love him, because everyone hates him. Like, what he's saying is the actual factual, but he's the unpopular opinion. And that's another thing. He could be an anomaly like myself. It could be because we're only children, and we do have to spend so much time alone, that we spend so much time analyzing before we allow people in our energy, especially when you know that you have top tier energy. So he just has this, withal and knowingness and willingness and wittiness that just works out very well if you are receptive to being your best. Because if you're not, then yeah, you'll definitely be talking about what he's talking about. Ain't it? You ain't rocking with it, whatever people be saying. But just being around her, and she's just like, I love him. Put him on. What's that man name? Put him on. Like, you want to hear Kevin saying, yeah. Scrolling on the TV. She's like, there you go right there. Looking at the thumbnail. She's like, I see his picture. There he go right there. I'm like, girl, you ain't wrong, girl. That's definitely him. And that's me. It's just like, I'm KD, but I'm Kevin's daughter. Not that Kevin, but another Kevin. Which is so funny. Which is why, yeah, stay tuned. I'm like, y'all know I'll be repping, the brand I'll be having on my brand t-shirts. What happened to Duval coming soon with OG and KD. I'm like, we definitely gonna pop out, y'all. Make sure that y'all subscribe to my YouTube channel and my daddy's as well. Go to my channel, and on my homepage, look at the featured channels on my channel. Follow my daddy's channel. It's only two. It's my mom and my daddy. So yeah, I'm like, tapping with my parents, y'all, because I be really trying to get them up here and out there, because y'all, I'm a Nepo baby. So without them, my life is nothing, and they're the real fun, and so they got the real money and stuff. They got the real resources and stuff. Like, who y'all think we get it from? Them. So yeah, hang out, rock out with them. I definitely am trying to get both of them on the streaming platforms. And child of TV, I've been trying to, I used to say exploit them for money. I guess in a way that's what it is. Because yeah, our TV show is long overdue. Universal, I don't know. We got to figure it out. We got to figure it out. Because I'm the Universal princess. But y'all know. That's another family. I'm like, that's another part of the family business and stuff like that. So at this point, like I said, I'm just talking, because that's just what I do. Child most talkative. Like I said, I graduated 15 years ago, class of 2010. Me, ding, ding, ding. Biggest ego, ding, ding, ding. Most dramatic, me, ding, ding, ding. Yeah, girl, that's all me. That's all me. But yeah, just all around. Like I said, y'all got to get this together, especially just being, you know, adults, mothers, whatever the case may be. Because like I said, just knowing that Cardi is frolicking around, knowing that she's a mother, and then just how so many women just are, oh yes, girl, get your lick back. I know that's right. Ooh, he did it. Da 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 da. It doesn't matter what he did, girl. You're literally like, not only do you look like a pass around to like the public eye that's looking at what's going on, they're literally subbing you, calling you a pass around with a football. You got one dog throwing it and another dog catching it. I would never want to be in that situation as somebody's not only mother but wife, and now you're like, you ain't even have to respond to that. So I'm like, girl, I can't even believe you got with a man that does that. But like I said, I don't even understand why the two of them got together in the first place. It was just like, it was for the aesthetic. It was like, Offset is very black. He just really needs him a real deal, like Kanye. They just need some real deal black girls. Like everybody know Kanye should have married that girl who was throwing up the Dynasty sign. You know, she was at Delta, so she been throwing up. That Dynasty sign. Should have just been with her. I'm sure she's still looking good, feeling good, smelling good, doing good, and you would have helped her do better. Like, and that's another thing, another unpopular opinion that, especially when we're talking about my dad and just talking about like when am I gonna get married, because child, at this point, child, been married, divorced, and everything else. Like I said, my grandparents are still till death did they, well, one of them parted, but yeah, that's just what it was. But black men and their pickings, terrible. Like I said, Offset, I just don't feel like he had any reason to be recorded. Like I said, it was for the aesthetic. Especially, I'm just like, well, what if she didn't buy that butt? What if she didn't buy her boobs? What if she was just stick figure Cardi? What if she was just cool, chill Cardi? What if she wasn't so provocative and sexual and licking her tongue on everything? Would you still be with her? I don't feel like men look at you, the same. Well, I'm learning that, especially like I said, being around my daddy, his first child. Men are very superficial, materialistic. They definitely looking at you. You can't weigh too much, but you can't weigh not enough. You got a child. I don't know why they think you got to be perfect for them, but child, whew, that's another discussion. But just Jeannie and Jeezy, it's just like you can look at these people and be like, really? Y'all know y'all don't have no reason to be together, but if this is what y'all want to do, like, really? Because it's one thing if you're just doing it for the plot. If you are self-aware about what's going on, you're just doing it because it's just like, I can enjoy a little plot twist here and there in my life, you can go for it. But if you're not self-aware about that's what you're doing, like we said, it's summertime coming up again, baby. Hallie and DDG was supposed to be a summer fling. You see how that's going? Not because she's the Little Mermaid, but just because of who he is. He is Kennedy, Ruby Rose, Lala. He is YouTuber girlies. Pick you one and get you one. Like they work in the same industry as you. I don't even think he did his research because, like I said, we saw this. At least I said it on this channel. Only place my opinion matters. Saw it coming from a mile away. Like she said on them Ungodly Hour Lives, what she would do if she caught her man cheating with that little giggle. Can't trust that. And I don't even know why he thought he could. That's why they say everybody think it would be Chloe that would be giving him the run around. I don't know why y'all would think that, because you can see clear as day. It's always the quiet ones that you gotta watch. Chloe, child, it would be handled differently. It would be, yeah. That's why Chloe's not pregnant. That's why I'm like, you could definitely see. Yeah, Chloe's just gonna get, I hate to say played, but she picks bad. She's kind of like me. Like, it's just like, oh my God, he's just so cute. I don't have any kids. I'm super single. Let's just see what we can do. Not necessarily trying to change a man or anything like that, because like that just does not happen. But again, just kind of, look at me. Wait, no, that's not the one. Nah, it's a Sandra D song, but I'm like, they driving it glass. Summer loving had me a blast. I met a girl crazy about me. I met a boy cute as could be. Summer days slipping away with a hot Saturday night. Wanna. Tell me more. Oh, does he have a car? Papa, shoot papa, shoot papa, shoot papa. See, y'all should have been out watching musicals instead of trying to hunch stuff, because I'm just like, I don't know where the game got so messed up at, because I'm just like, the girls don't know nothing, nor do the men. It's just like, y'all cannot be serious about life. Y'all are so ghetto. Stop it. Get some help. Y'all hear them sirens as confirmation? Tell them, Jesus. Stop it. Get some help. Y'all hear it? Beep, beep, beep. That's the help y'all need. That's the confirmation. Look at all that confirmation out there. That means somebody not getting out the way in the city. And y'all know I don't like that. Because, baby, I done been in the back of an ambulance before and been fighting for my life. So when y'all hear them sirens, get the riding out the way. But yeah, we're going to wrap it up because I'm like, that's pretty much all I got to say. And let's say our Course in Miracles, not only because we believe in it, but because we know that it works. And we know that our deepest fear is not that we are inadequate. Our deepest fear is that we are powerful beyond measure, as it is our light, not our darkness, that most frightens us. As we ask ourselves, who am I to be brilliant, gorgeous, talented, fabulous? And who are you not to be? You are a child of God, and your playing small does not serve the world, as there is nothing enlightening about shrinking so that others won't feel insecure around you, as we are all meant to shine as God's children do. And we are born to make manifest the glory within us, and it's not just in some of us, it's in each and every one of us. And as we let our own light shine, we unconsciously give others permission to do the same. And as we're liberated from our own fears, our presence automatically liberates others. And with that being said, be good, be great, look good, don't hate, spread love, because that's what a real mob do. Keep it gangster and look out for your people, because that's what the real gangsters do. Okay? So subscribe for the vibes, and until next live, KD, being me, your divine cosmic cousin, divine cosmic cheerleader, all things divine. It's clocking out until the next live. No one told you I'm here to tell you that God loves you, Jesus loves you, and I love you if you love them. So there's that. Kisses and toodles. KD is clocking out.